Luke Hatfield. I'm joined by Tim Spears, Wolves correspondent here at the Express's Star. Obviously, Wolves going so strong to start the season, top of the table now. I mean, how well are they equipped for this sustained promotion push, which they're really putting on?
Yeah, they look pretty well placed at the moment, to be honest. I mean, you look at that team, you look at that 11, you look at that bench. You don't really see any kind of glaring obvious weaknesses. Obviously, there's an awful lot of football still to be played. There's a long winter ahead, and how these players kind of start to cope with fatigue will be really important. Wolves will inevitably get a long list of injuries and suspensions. But you look, like I said, you look at the squad and they do look well equipped to cope with it. I mean, the bench was frightening on Saturday. You had Will Norris, who's been outstanding in 3 League Cup games so far, and is a great understudy to John Ruddy. You had Ryan Bennett, who's got 300 games under his belt, played in the Premier League with Norwich, kept a clean sheet at Burton last time out. He was on the bench. Ruben Vinagre, he was the star at Burton, really, one of the best players on the pitch. He was dropped. And Jai, he was on the bench. He was the hero against Barnsley last month with a goal and an assist. Probably their best player at Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago. You know, he can't make the team. Ben Marshall, I think he'd walk into most Championship teams. Brighton Bakari's really kind of added an end product this season, a hugely talented youngster. And Leo Bonatini, who's contributed more goals and assists than any other Championship player this season. And then you look at the likes of Willy Bolly, who's still got to come back, arguably the best defender on their books, potentially. Courtney Hawes, Jack Price, Connor Ronan, Morgan Gibbs-White, Philip Fossaway, we haven't seen yet. So the strength and depth is frightening, to be honest, and that will stand them in good stead throughout the rest of the season. Like I said, there's a long winter to come. You know, everyone's rightly getting carried away, I guess, at the moment, because everything's really falling into place for Wolves, and it's a great place to be and a great club to be around at the moment. But yeah, can they keep it going? They've certainly got enough goals in the team, I think. You look at the likes of Costa, Jota, Cavallero. If they can keep up a decent level of form throughout this season, then Wolves will score, every game, and they look so solid at the back. I think it's 8 or 9 clean sheets so far, which is as good as they've done in the kind of the last 20 years or so in terms of clean sheets. They look so solid at the back. And I guess there'll be additions in January as well, which can only strengthen them.
It begs the question, with the likes of Jota, Costa and Bonatini obviously coming on and scoring a goal against Villa, do they really need another striker? I mean, there was all that talk in the transfer window saying there was a bit of a disaster on the last day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wolves were so keen to bring a striker in. They were willing to spend 10 million on transfer deadline day, which shows you just how seriously they were taking it and how keen they were to get somebody in. They went for a host of names in the summer, a host of proven players that they just couldn't land the striker they wanted. Bonatini, proving a lot of people wrong, myself included. I didn't think he'd be necessarily up to the rigours of the Championship week after week, and playing in the first team every week. I know he's been on the bench the last couple of games, but he's proven a lot of people wrong, and he adds a lot to the team, to be honest, with his back to goal, his touch, his technique, his eye for a pass. He's unselfish as well. I think he's got a lot to offer. He won't be able to do that all season. We've already seen him taken out the firing line for a couple of games, taken on the bench. I do think they'll need another striker, and I think that they are going to have a poor run of form at some point as well. Don't forget, and I think that signing a big name, proven striker in January could be the catalyst really for the second half of the season, which is of course the most important part when you really need to kick on. If Bonatini was injured, then suddenly you'd say, hang on, this is almost a desperate situation in terms of numbers, because there's just nobody. Michael Zorro, as someone I didn't mention earlier, he's an option, but Nuno hasn't seemed too keen on him. So no, I do think they need to bring someone in. I'll be interested to see how much money they spend. We expect them to spend a lot of money on Jota as well, by the way, in January. But we think the funds are there. So I think come January, they'll certainly be looking to bring someone in. Maybe even Duckins Nazon, by the way, you never know. On fire for Coventry in League Two, and for Haiti as well, actually. So he may come back. His loan's up in January. But I certainly expect them to bring somebody in.
Yeah, always good for a great goal too. Yeah. So for all the latest Wolves news, make sure you head to expressinstar.com.